Welcome everyone, my name is Tony. Hope you guys are all having a great day today. I'm just gonna jump right into the video. I had the whole intro planned out and everything, but to be honest, I don't really see the point of it. This is my first video ever. I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes. My eyes aren't gonna line up with the camera, like right now. I don't have the proper equipment just yet, and I will here in the coming days, and the future videos will obviously have better quality when it comes to video, even though this probably isn't too bad with my phone. But future, obviously I'm going to try to upgrade if things get serious. That is, if I actually consistently upload, I have maybe an audience that wants to see my content. But for now, it's just going to be like this. Next video will be better in the sense that I'm going to actually have my camera on a stand. So, the stabilization will be a lot better. Won't be as shaky. Hopefully the video, will look fine as is. So reason why I'm starting this channel. Mostly it has to do with the fact that I have a passion for entertainment, but mostly video games. Granted, I love all forms of entertainment. I love shows, movies, games, comics, whatever. But the main purpose of this channel is just going to be about gaming and highlighting, new games that are coming out, past games, talking about current drama within the community and whatnot. And when I say that, I mean not adding to the drama, but merely trying to maybe make sense of it all, maybe be reasonable, be that source that doesn't egg these parties that are fighting with each other or egg on the negativity, because that's really the next point of why I'm starting this channel, is to highlight the fact that for some reason in this day and age we're destroying the very thing that we love. I mean, granted, yes, we have a lot of games coming out. There's still so many good factors to our community. There are amazing people around every corner. But slowly but surely, every corner of the gaming community is now becoming infected with these toxic bogs of basically just negativity, hatred. And, I get it. Life is not easy. So it's easy to bring that negativity from your daily life into the thing that you love. And we're all guilty of it. I've done it multiple times. People I've known, my best friends, people I just met, we're all guilty of it. It's normal, we're human. It's gonna happen. But I think if we're aware of the fact that we're doing it, or we need to be better, I think in time we'll start noticing it less and less. Granted, it's not gonna happen overnight. I guarantee I'll be lucky to get maybe a couple hundred people to see this video. And that's fine. Even if one person watches it and resonates with what I have to say, that's a positive, that's just positive, and that's a win for me. Great examples of this right now would be, take PvP games. Arc Raiders, for example, despite the game only being out for barely 2 months, you can't really go a match without having the psycho interactions with people when you down them or they down you, and they might tell you to go off yourself or just go overboard. And I can't probably say the things that they say. I'm not going to repeat it. YouTube probably flag the hell out of my video, and I'm trying to eventually get it monetized. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but I'd rather start off on a good note and not on a negative one. I understand that trash talk is a normal part of the game, and that's great. I mean, that's fun. It's a huge element to gaming, especially PvP. It's fun to trash talk each other because it adds that excitement, adds that, blood pumping moments where you're like, oh, this guy just said this, I'm gonna come back with a quick little witty comeback. That's fun, that's normal. But it's the people who are taking it to an extreme. There's no reason to curse somebody out over a video game. There just isn't. or to tell them to off themselves, or again, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's becoming more and more common. And it's sad to see, because that kind of mentality really chases people away. You could have these casual gamers who only have maybe 5-6 hours out of the entire week until their off time to actually enjoy themselves and unwind. Who wants to get on this game that they're enjoying and hear all this insanity? Sure, you can mute it and whatnot, but then you're potentially missing out on making new friends. You're missing out on being able to hear the proximity chat with some of these games, to hear if somebody's near you, or you might just miss out on a beautiful friendship. Like I said, there's a lot of cons to just shutting yourself off from other people. But for some reason it seems like we're just addicted to being assholes to one another. And again, like I said earlier, life is definitely a big factor to all this. A lot of us are stressed out, we're unhappy, so when we get on here, we get behind the camera, it's easy to say and do whatever you want and think there's no repercussion to it. But truthfully, there is, because you might say these words to somebody that is having just as bad of a day as you. That's their breaking point. You don't know, and of course it's not your responsibility. You don't know them, they don't know you, but at the same token, it is your responsibility, because don't you want to be good to your fellow man, especially when it comes to gaming? I mean, gaming used to be, in my opinion, the place where everyone would escape to get away from the chaos of daily life and to just explore these crazy, unbelievable worlds that people come up with, and to come together to enjoy these games, to have friendly competition. But now it's just becoming just like anything else in life. It's becoming toxic. It's becoming basically a place of unease instead of rest. I mean, hell, if it's not the trash talk, you got to be careful with what you say to some people. You might get reported for no reason, and due to the new AI systems being implemented across all platforms, I mean, I don't know how it is on PC, so I can't really speak too much for them, but I know from a PlayStation, Xbox standpoint, if you get reported, most of the time that ban's gonna go through. You're gonna, now you're not able to use your account for over 30 days, if not longer, and that sucks. And it's sad to see that this is what our community is coming to, between people being either overly sensitive to normal trash talk, or people who just don't understand the difference between friendly trash talking and just being a downright asshole. But it's not just a PvP aspect. Another example of how things are going sideways, in my opinion, would be when a new game gets announced. It's typically, it's never good, to put it simply. Most of the time you go to the comments on the video and more than half of them are negative, saying this game looks terrible, or it's gonna flop, or it's too much money, or maybe it's from a dev team that may have not done too well with the previous titles, and people are like, oh, don't even waste your time, they sucked with X, Y, and Z, so why would this be any different? And to me, it's devastating. It's crazy to think that we're just not willing to give people another chance, or to give a new company a chance, just because we've had bad experiences in the past. It's just not, it's not necessary. It's 2025. I think we can all be mature adults. I guarantee most of the community now is, people my age, like in their early mid-20s, and, older people who have been playing since the Atari was, the most relevant thing, or the Nintendo 64. I think we're all more than capable of being mature about new releases, about how we interact with one another, but it's the addiction to negativity and anger. It's easy to fall into that repetition, because, hey, 100 people over here are saying the same thing as me. Why not go along with it? Why not just support it? I must be right. If I'm saying this and other people are agreeing with me, then we must be right. But that's not always the case. I mean, can you imagine if, CD Projekt actually fell to all the negativity about Cyberpunk 2077? What if they just gave up on the game because of all the hate that they're getting between the fans, between the content creators, their investors? What if they just folded and said, you know what, we're done, sorry, but this is how the game is going to be. We're just walking away. We're going to focus on future titles. We may have never gotten the beautiful masterpiece that is Cyberpunk now. And that's just, one example of many when it comes to what I'm talking about. We're so addicted to being hateful on anything that we don't necessarily instantly love or agree with that we don't see when we're actually doing more harm than good. Because I think a lot of the time people have the best of intentions when they're making these comments, even if they are negative and hateful. They're just trying to, save people money. They're trying to bring awareness that, hey, you should be cautious of this company. But I think if we all do that, then we're going to just start hurting the very thing that we love. I mean, you have to think, these companies, they're ran by people just like you and me. They're human. They have emotions. They will make mistakes. And yes, it is, kind of our place to call them out and say, hey, X, Y, and Z is wrong and needs to be fixed. But it's not our place to do it from a sense of hate or negativity. Say, hey, I'm loving the game. I'm loving this aspect. The gameplay's fun. The graphics are good. It's just there's bugs here, there's exploits being used here, and it's kind of taking away from the experience. Don't scream at them, don't demand from them, don't be entitled. Because yes, you are buying this game, but it's not your game. You didn't create it, you paid for it. It's a great way to put this. It's like when you were a kid. Yes, your parents have an obligation to take care of you, to give you the best life possible, right? But just because you want a toy that will make you, you think will make you happier, doesn't mean your parents are, obligated to buy it. You could have 10 other toys that are working and functional, and they're not going to buy it for you. Well, you don't need one right now. Like, why do you need this? We just got you this, a month ago. If you throw a fit, you're not going to get what you get. I mean, I know from when I was a kid, if you throw a temper tantrum, you ain't getting nothing. So why is it any different as adults? What makes us entitled now just because we spent money on it doesn't mean that we can call all the shots and demand for things to be done that we feel needs to be done. Granted, now, if the game isn't functional whatsoever, of course, that's when we call them out and say, hey, the product isn't working whatsoever. There are certain things that they have to make sure is, working. Just like a parent has to make sure a kid has food and water, shelter, clothing, is getting to school, is clean and happy. But they don't have to give us excessive amount of things, and they don't have to respond to every demand we make. And that's something I feel like a lot of us don't understand. And I get it. Again, this all circles back to the negativity and the anger that we carry over from our daily lives. I think due to the fact that we don't really take time to really be real with ourselves, we don't realize how much it's really affecting the very thing that we love. We don't realize how much we're really doing it. And I feel like that's, granted, it's not always the case, but I feel like a lot of the time that's why we're not getting better titles or not better, but I'd say more attentive detail to these games and love and attention. Because I think maybe there just hits a point with these devs where they're so tired themselves from their life, despite maybe, being passionate about what they do and having their dream job. They're still human. They're still going to get burnt out no matter what. And when you have millions of people screaming at you, telling you that you're doing bad, then, you might want to fix it. You might want to solve that problem, but, you just, like I said, you're burnt out. What are you going to do? You don't have the drive to fix that problem. And, I think over time it can get better. I think we could really start to be aware of this. I really do. We're all capable people. We all have a passion for this. I think it's just a matter of time and being honest with ourselves and taking accountability for our actions and our words. Whether it's, you're playing a game and you're being, a straight asshole to people for no reason just because you lost a match, or you're just skeptical of a new release. Or another thing that I want to mention before I end this video, why is it that we can't just respect one another when it comes to our likes and dislikes? Perfect example of something that just happened recently. Battlefield 6, Black Ops 7. Now, I can already tell I'm probably going to get a lot of, shit for this. People do watch this video, but doesn't matter if you like Battlefield or you like Call of Duty or you like both. You should just respect one another when it comes to your respective games. I don't like Call of Duty anymore. I don't think the quality is there. I think compared to titles that I grew up playing like Finest Hour, Big Red 1, World at War, the OG Modern Warfare series, and Black Ops 1 and 2, those were amazing. The gameplay, the voice acting, the characters, the graphics at the time, it was all stellar. But these newer titles, I don't care for it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to tell people that they're wrong for liking it or that they're idiots for, continuing to buy it. If that's what they enjoy spending their hard-earned money on and it brings them happiness, then by all means, that's amazing. I'm glad you're happy, because in this life, we are all just trying to be happy at the end of the day, right? We're all looking for that happiness. So again, that's another major issue I feel we need to work on and call ourselves out on, is to just be more respectful and be open and just look at it from a positive standpoint of like, okay, the game isn't up to my specs. I don't like it, but you know what? I'm glad this person's having a good time because they deserve to have a good time. If spending their money on that is what brings them happiness, then by all means, I hope you continue to be happy. So that's just one example. I'll bring it up in future videos too as time goes on, because I can guarantee there will be more conflict about, competitive gaming franchises, whether it's Call of Duty and Battlefield, or maybe people comparing Halo and Destiny, or maybe, as these extraction shooters come out in the coming years, we got Arc Raiders right now, and then Marathon's coming out, I believe, next March, and then PUBG has another one. Yeah, that's just tip of the iceberg. I know of like 2 other extraction shooters that are going to be coming out next year. So it's going to be a crazy year, and I guarantee there's going to be a lot of conflict. Hopefully not. Hopefully maybe people start, recognizing the fact that they're just kind of out of line for what they're doing, what they're saying, that maybe they need to take a step back after. Maybe I'll get lucky and you guys will watch this video and you'll watch my future content, and the words that I'm saying will resonate with you. You'll appreciate the words, maybe do some deep thinking, just be honest with yourself, and maybe instead of, flipping your top, take a deep breath and look at the positive side of things. Look for the good instead of the bad. But I think that's going to do it for this video, really. Instead of, I could, obviously keep going for a while and rant and kind of reiterate what I've already said, but I don't think anyone really wants to hear that, and I don't really want to hear myself reiterate things when I edit this, or just when I rewatch this video. But again, I'm going to be uploading at least 2 or 3 times a week starting out here. I have the time to do it. And, the coming videos will be about certain games. I believe the next one I'm going to upload is going to be about Arc Raiders and the current state of things. So if you're playing that, or you've been on the edge about playing it, hey, I invite you to come join me to listen to what I have to say about it, because it's going to be an open, honest, review of the game, and we're not going to pull punches. I'm going to be honest on things that I think, might be rough in the game for some people, but I'm also going to highlight all the amazing aspects to it and why you should give it a try. But thank you guys for your time. I look forward to seeing you in future videos, but until then, y'all have a great day and have fun gaming. Peace.